Are you ready?
I'm ready.
He's ready. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, pull a Yui. Music store, red neon light right in the window. You can't miss us. Listen, Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast here in our studio. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We're here today with brand new friend we met minutes ago. Ira Sakolsky, studio owner, Riverway Studios.
That's it.
East Haddam.
Yep.
Hey, there we go. So in the studio biz, but much more. I've been told. I've heard. Rob DeSorbo, the one and only, acquainted us with each other. So why don't you tell us about yourself? If you want to start with the studio and then...
Sure, yeah. I'll just float around as it goes.
Yeah.
First, thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's nice to, be able to talk and share stuff.
Well, now I looked on Facebook. We have a lot of mutual friends, so this is going to put some links together or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, the recording studio business happened unexpectedly because I was an actor-musician in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And did a lot of work in those two areas. And I auditioned for the National Theater of the Deaf when they were located in Chester.
Oh, wow.
As an actor.
Okay.
And they called me back, and they weren't sure I was really a musician because a lot of actors tend to lie about what they do. So I said, yeah, I'm really a musician.
So where did you grow up?
I grew up in New York City.
Okay.
Queens, first 8 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you came up here maybe for that gig.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, 1994.
Okay.
So they had me come up and read a script, and they asked me what I would do with it musically, which was like a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. And so I read it through, and I just thought it was like a cartoon. It was a French farce. And I love the old Spike Jonze, murdering the classics.
I do too, actually. I do too. Yeah.
Great arrangements and crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And so I said, this score needs to be like that.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So that's what I said to the artistic director, Will Reese, and he loved the idea. And he said, well, we love your acting, and we want you to voice for the lead actor, and we want you to write a music score and play it live.
Wow.
And I had never written a music score.
Like break out the frying pans
I'm
or
telling
whatever.
You, man. Yeah, right. Well, I auditioned for that and Stomp.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
wow.
8 times.
Whoa.
I was ready to roll with that, but I tore my left ACL.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. They said we want to get you on the road first, so I had to put that away. And then that was just before the theater.
So you're primarily a drummer?
I started with drums, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer.
Are you? Oh, nice. Yeah. I started taking in school, the lessons. And I started taking private lessons when I was 9 years old. And,
wow, yeah.
It was awesome. Yeah.
Great. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay, right. Okay. Yeah, so they loved the idea, and it's a touring show. Mm-hmm. So they told me you're going to sit in a replica of the Eiffel Tower, upstage center. So you need electronic drums, which will fit in that.
Oh, right, sure.
And then whatever other instrumentation you want, whatever you could fit in there, because you're going to be on stage the whole time.
Wow.
Playing the score live and voicing for the lead actor.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a big wow. I was really excited about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But I always had a musical idea, so I came up the summer before we started rehearsals, and I just bought a little, a recorder. And I watched some of the workshopping, and I just would hum ideas into it,
Wow.
And then we started rehearsals, and I bought a Roland,
Sure.
8
Octopad or whatever.
right,
yeah.
with the sequencer in it, because I didn't know what, and I started learning it.
Wow.
And then I bought a Mac, a laptop, which looked like a bread box
Back
at the
in the
time.
day. Yeah.
And I just started learning about computers, and a friend of mine, Robert Fritz, used to use Digital Performer.
Okay.
And I'd looked over his shoulder a couple times, so I said, let me go that way. Let me learn Digital Performer. It was all at once. It was
wow. And you wanted to get an acting gig, and all of a sudden you're in this whole other thing.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. And the acting was still there as far as voicing. I don't know if you've seen any of the Theater of the Deaf performances.
No.
National Theater of the Deaf was a Tony Award-winning company. So there's about 3 hearing actors, and the rest of the company. It was a big cast. It was like 14 actors. I think 11 of them were deaf.
Okay.
And they sign, and the voicing actor voices the signs simultaneously.
Wow.
Like dubbing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Live dubbing.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And I have a lot of, my acting training and my theater games training. So, and being a drummer, your mind can do a few things at once. So I had that capacity. So,
So you just said yes.
I said
just
yes.
like, yeah. And there you are.
A great gig. I'm a union actor, so it paid union scale. It was great, So I started figuring out, I'd watch rehearsals and I'd hum into my thing, and then rehearsals would end. It's a full 7-hour day, and then I go back to the hotel because they were putting me up to write and figure out. Yeah, it was an amazing process. So I came up with this fun score, and then we started touring the country.
Wow.
For 2 years.
Holy crow.
There was a gal.
Who were they going to hire if some actor didn't walk in and say, by the way? You know what I mean? Like, who else would have?
I don't know. Well, I don't think they were thinking the music was going to be as complicated as I wrote it. And I didn't know my capacity either, that I can write all this stuff. Yeah, so I started, just this stuff was pouring out of me. And it was like a tidal wave of music. It was exciting.
Yeah.
So, so we started touring around. There was a gal, I was single.
Sure.
There was a gal who worked in the office who I saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, who's that? Her name was Monica, and she was with a guy, and I was going off on the road, so nothing was happening. But this is like a forward, like this is like the pre-sequence.
That's fine. Yeah.
So it was great to play the show. We were in every state in the country.
Wow.
Except Alaska and Hawaii.
Sure.
But literally.
And what was it called?
It was called An Italian Straw Hat.
Okay.
Yeah, French farce in the 1800s. The actors were great. Some of them you've seen in movies.
Wow.
What was that Richard Dreyfuss movie where he was a music teacher?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Holland's Opus.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So one of our performers ended up in that movie.
Oh, I see.
The older guy.
Right.
Yeah, and very talented cast. One of the actresses from Australia is a filmmaker, and she's coming to Lincoln Center, and it was just a great group of people. Yeah, phenomenal cast. So we toured for 2 years, and they kept say, well, we have another show we want you to write music for, and if you want to tour with it. But in the meantime, a year after, this gal who I was interested in became available.
Hey.
So we started dating, and we ended up getting married.
Okay.
And so I moved up here.
Oh, wow. So she was from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I had a nice gig with the Theater of the Deaf. I decided I didn't want to tour because I've toured my whole life. Yeah. With different acting gigs and different music to get things. And I just wanted some roots. So we bought a house. And I had this nice job. And word got out that I had recording equipment. I was in a little 10 by 10 office in the house.
Yeah, sure.
Just making music. I did stuff for Pepsi, for Coke, I was doing, jingles and all that stuff. And then what happened? The theater, people started asking, you have any recording equipment? Can you record me? And I was like, well, I don't know.
I guess so.
I was a composer more than a, engineer. So I started recording, and stuff came out pretty good. Yeah. And then the director wanted me to take an Ogden Nash poem, who was a popular writer in the 50s, 60s, and it was called The Christmas That Almost Wasn't. Okay. Was the poem. It was published in 56, the same year as The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Yeah. So he wanted to make a musical out of it.
Oh, wow.
And so I started looking for songs and created this musical, which we did at the Chester Meeting House for 2 Christmases. And then the administration changed, and I made little demo tapes of this thing. Yeah. So the new artistic director heard the tapes, and he was like, "Oh, this is great." So he had the idea to make a CD. What do we call it? What is it? It's like a celebrity CD. Sure. And that they use as a fundraiser. That's what sure. So I had never made a CD.
Oh boy!
I mean, this was all jumping in.
So none of this is.
It's all new.
Wow.
But I heard it. That's all you need, right? You hear the music, and then you learn the technology.
I guess. Do you think now you got to wonder? Does anyone ever know what they're doing, or does everyone like you? You just like, because I'm the same way. It's just like, oh,
I need
okay,
to
there's an
learn
opportunity. Let me just figure it out.
Yeah, a lot of us are like that. A lot of people
Yeah,
start like
right,
that. And a lot of them are, they got chops, but because
Funny.
they studied at it. Yeah. So we put this thing together, and I started making a CD, and they were flying me around the country, and it was a race between me and the producer to try to get the artists we wanted on this thing.
Okay.
So I knew Steve Stevens. We grew up together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey.
Billy Idol.
Yeah.
So his mom and my mom were best friends.
Oh, that's funny. That's so funny.
So we were always over there, and he always had a guitar in his hand,
yeah.
And so I called him up, and I said, I scored it like good versus evil, which is the storyline.
Right.
So all the good guys were like this.
And of course, he's the good guy. No.
Yeah, no. He's actually the sweetest guy.
Yeah, I bet.
This whole other thing.
Sure.
Stage
Yeah, but he's
persona.
the man in black.
You
or
know.
whatever.
Yeah,
That's
right.
funny.
Yeah. So, so I scored it. All the bad guys were, rock and roll and
Sure.
blues. So I called him up. I said, hey, Steve, we're going to be out in your neck of the woods out in Hollywood, and we're going all over the country to record artists. And, you want to play on this thing. I'll send it to you. So I
Yeah.
sent it to him. He says, oh, this is really cool. It was like it was like a Metallica
Yeah.
kind of riff that I made up. And,
Yeah.
and he loved it. And so the artistic director knew John Lithgow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we got him to narrate the thing.
Yeah.
And then we got a lot like Josie from Josie and the Pussycats was on it.
Okay.
We just started grabbing people.
Yeah.
I sent word out to Billy Joel, and he actually wrote back and said, I'm not available during that time, blah, blah, blah. Because I wanted people like Carole King and Billy Joel and James Taylor,
Sure.
who I grew up with, storytellers.
Why not?
But they weren't available in their
Sure.
time frame.
Sure.
So the producer got a lot of folks from like Transatlantic Studio in Florida where the what's it called, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
Sure.
So
Sure.
we went to that studio.
Wow.
And there was like a factory over there. And what's his name hadn't gone to jail yet. The guy who runs.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either. Their stuff was okay. I written like a 10-part harmony on this one song, the opening song, and we had 5-girl group and a 5-boy group.
Yeah, right.
But the girls didn't rehearse, so we had to pitch. It was just one of these odysseys, but it was great. So we finished the record, and then we got a Grammy nomination.
Hey.
Which was like, what?
Hey. Wow, imagine
Okay,
that.
I guess I got something going on. And plus, John Lithgow and Steve and all these other people were on it. Suzy Roach, I don't know if you know the Roach sisters.
Yeah, well, I don't know them, but yeah, the Roaches.
Yeah, well, I went to school with Suzy, so
Oh, wow.
I just pulled it.
Yeah.
Whoever I
That's
could.
funny.
Yeah, so all of a sudden I'm at, they did it at Madison Square Garden that year, the Grammys, because of 9/11.
Right.
And so they wanted to bring people back to New York.
Gotcha.
Which was great. It's my home turf. And I'm sitting behind, the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah.
Dixie Chicks.
Sure.
And to my left is Doc Watson.
Yeah, imagine that.
And all these people. And so it was just surreal.
Wow.
It was just a
that's gotta
wild
be
ride.
crazy.
We were up against Tom Chapin, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jerry Seinfeld, and Disney for Monsters, Inc. because it was spoken word with music.
Gotcha.
Was the category.
Okay.
Yeah. So, it was a thrill to be there. Tom Chapin won, which was great. And he came from, he was living in a certain part of Rockland County that I was, after I moved out of New York for a bit.
Wow.
Anyway, so and I knew Tom. So it was just a big, wonderful thing. And then the phone started ringing off the hook, like, can you do this? Can you write this? And it was great, So I just...
Because now you're Grammy nominated. Yeah.
That was the thing, So I've just been riding this wave.
Next thing you know, Billy Joel, you're not taking his calls now. He's tracking you down. You're like...
That's so funny.
Imagine.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I would take his call any day of the week. Yeah. So it's been this ride, over the past few years, and then I just started recording more other people.
Sure.
And
just like word of mouth, kind of.
Yeah. Because I wasn't looking for it, but it just kind of showed up, big time. And so that's been great. My wife passed away in 2009, which was,
Sorry to hear that.
Thanks. Yeah. It just was hard because I came up here because of her.
Yeah.
And my roots are in New York City.
Sure.
And so much going on there that I love. But I had this business now. Actually, what happened was the Essex Steam Train.
Okay, Rob mentioned. Yeah. Okay.
So there's the music Ira.
Yeah.
And then there's the writer, director, actor Ira.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was involved.
Who's here today? All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
Is Ira in the room today?
It's the full Monty, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was heavily involved with improvisational theater. I had worked and studied with the co-founder of Second City, Paul Sills.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was amazing. So I started my own improv group up here because I just wanted to have stuff to do that was in that. They were good. I trained them for like 7 years, and they were ready to perform.
Wow.
And we did these wild improvisational shows with music and with art. We were called Florence Griswold Museum. I created a whole art show. Yeah, it was really fun. And the group started taking off. The Essex Steam Train called because one of their workers had seen one of my shows. Wow. And they were looking to upgrade their entertainment for Christmas. So they had they had librarians reading the Polar Express basically, and then singing Christmas carols, and Santa and Mrs. Claus would go through the car. So I went over there and I kind of looked around, and I just saw this wonderful multi-generational, multicultural place where people get on this old, beautiful Pullman train car.
Yeah, I've never been on it. But
it's gorgeous.
It's supposed to be a big deal, right?
It's like stepping into a Norman Rockwell painting.
Yeah, I would do that. I should go.
Yeah. Oh, you love it.
Yeah.
So, I'm thinking like all these people, and at that time, I think it was one train with 8 cars. Okay. That's how we started. And this was 2005.
Oh, wow.
And my wife had cancer. Oh. So I know it was just a bunch of stuff at once. So I was taking care of her, but then this opportunity came in, and it was a blessing because she couldn't work anymore. And all of a sudden, it was really a blessing to have it. Yeah. So I decided to create a show based on improvisation so that it was very interactive.
Wow.
Christmas themed. And we only did weekends at the time. And it was a big hit.
So it's like scenes as people drive, as the train comes through, there's
an actor on each car.
Oh, okay.
And so I wrote songs for it, and I took The Night Before Christmas and set it to music. Oh. And it's a whole journey to see Santa. Yep. He's the star of the show. But it's all there's an actor on each car. Sorry, I'm a little tired. So my brain is like a little first out today. So there's an actor on each car who performs. So they've got a captive audience, basically 64 people, while the train goes up to Deep River, which is the North Pole. Okay, goes a little past. The whole ride was 90 minutes. Okay. Yeah, and all interactive stuff. And then the songs were set pieces, and then the Clauses come on, and they serve hot cocoa. It's somewhat derivative of the Polar Express.
Are there musicians performing?
No, I recorded everything. Yeah. So they have a track, basically, that they sing to. Gotcha. Yeah. Like karaoke, except, it's original stuff. So, it just took off. This was 18 years ago. Wow. Last year we sold out 70,000 seats.
It's still going.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. And we're expanding.
That's cool.
We're adding another train, car potentially. The thing just keeps growing. So I'm starting to make other products out of it. Wow. I'm starting to do little caricatures of the popular characters. And I may be working on an animation of one of the songs I wrote.
So it's just still going. You're just developing more and more things.
It's from the heart. I cast the show. I think we have about 50, 60 actors that I hired. Wow. Yeah. So this is that part of that producer-writer part.
So you were able to use that. That was who knows what the dream was, but actor, improv, that it came.
Yeah, it just sort of doing its own.
That's funny. And up here.
Yeah, up here of all places.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we had Ryan Reynolds and Blake come on the train last year.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, we got good buzz on this thing.
Yeah, that's got to be exciting, though. When you think that you ended up doing it all.
Essentially, yeah, essentially.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's. I mean, when you're a creator, you create stuff. Yeah. And if somebody likes it, all the better. Yeah. And it gets monetized, which isn't the main goal. The main goal is make stuff for me, to make stuff from my heart that interests me, and so this has been a wild ride. I never expected to be still doing this after 18 years, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful as hell.
Wow. Yeah. That's really cool.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So between that time and now, because I miss the acting. I wrote a semi-musical about online dating.
Oh,
because I was single.
Okay. Oh, right.
After
Okay.
my wife
okay.
passed away, and I was like, oh, let me write myself a part as the widower.
Wow. Yeah.
So I wrote this thing, and it got picked up by a producer out in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Me and my friend were out there visiting Paul Sill's place because his daughter Aretha is teaching improv.
Okay.
And I keep at it. So, we went to see some theater after the workshop, and in town were two guys from New York who bought this theater, movie theater, and turned it into a regular theater. And one of them, I don't know if you know the off-Broadway play, The Spitfire Grill.
I might have.
Yeah.
I might have heard of it.
It was
I don't know much about theater.
Theater stuff.
That's okay.
So, it was very successful, still successful with plays all over. So it was him up in Wisconsin with his boyfriend, Robert Bowles, who was a Broadway actor.
Yeah.
And so I just started talking with all from New York.
Yeah.
We saw their show, it was an original
boy.
show. I said, I have an idea for a show.
She was.
And I was working on something. And then they found out that I knew Paul Sills, and they said, oh, we'd love to have you do something about Paul. And I was like, oh. So
Wow.
yeah, so Paul and his mother Viola Spohn wrote the book on improvisational theater, Second City, I don't know if you know about
Sure.
Second City, but
A little.
everybody came out of Second City.
Right.
Colbert,
Right.
John Stewart,
Sure.
Gilda Radner,
Saturday Night Live,
Mike
the
Nichols,
whole crew. Right.
yeah, everything.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, so it's a big topic. But actually, my writing partner and I, Todd Little, came up with an idea. So I approached Aretha and Paul's wife, Carolyn, who's still alive. And I pitched him the idea because, they own it.
Yeah.
They own all that story. And they went, no.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So I was like, Todd, we got to come up with something else fast because we had to open it
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
something.
sure.
So we'd both been dating online.
So you just like, I'm just going to write something about.
Let's make a play with music about online dating.
Wow.
So we did, and we pitched it to the producers. They went, okay.
So bizarre. And then you're like, great. Now I have to write this. Wow.
So we
Gee
wrote
whiz.
it, and we put a cast together. We did it in Deep River first.
Okay.
And people liked it. It was a little long, it was running a little long, so we had to cut. I mean, It was just to get it up,
Yeah.
And then we sent the script out to Wisconsin to those guys, and they went, great.
Wow.
So yeah, we produced it out there. I got to do some acting. I wrote some songs for it, and people loved it. We got great write-ups. So
And it's called?
it's called Methuselah's Guide to Online Dating. Subtitle for those with reading glasses.
Sure.
So we were hitting the 40 above.
Right.
Yeah, crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we sold out. We were there for a month. We sold out.
Wow.
The buzz was good. The big papers picked it up. But it needs to develop more. So Todd and I, we had little artistic differences and weren't sure, but we resolved them. And, so it's waiting to be worked on some more.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Wow.
sitting there. Yeah. In the meantime, I was writing another play, which I also produced, and I got some New York actors to come up, and it was called The Mark. And it's a story about a woman who, she's a descendant of folks who were abolitionists.
Okay.
And starts in 1850, and it goes through where one of the slaves is escaping, Granddaddy Pete and his granddaughter, and they end up separating, but he ends up in New York on his way to Canada.
Okay.
On the Freedom Trail. And so the food was always excellent at this place. So eventually it turned into a restaurant. And
Wow.
Yeah, so the current woman who runs it now relinquished her children at birth. So the whole story revolves around the restaurant in the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Okay.
And all the visitors that come in.
Yeah, right.
And we follow all their stories, but we follow the big story
Sure.
of the mom and the kids because they don't. The girl was adopted by a rich family, and the boy became a street person, a homeless guy.
So you have this wide scope of.
So it's a drama, and there's some funny moments. You have to have some funny moments in these things. So I invited a New York director producer friend of mine up to see it, and he liked it.
Wow.
So that also needs another draft. So those are personal things I'm working on.
And the whole time, how seasonal is the train gig, or is it?
It's basically it's Christmas. It's
So when do you get working on that?
Oh, I haven't already started. Yeah, I started last month.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big show.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's not Well, I mean, it runs seasonal, but your work is year round.
Yeah, there's there's always things to change, adapt, make better.
I see.
Yeah, the show runs around November 19th through December 28th or whatever.
How much of a break do you get? Like a couple of weeks, and then you're back at it.
Yeah, because of COVID, I didn't go anywhere for 2 years.
Right.
And I always go down to Florida.
I see.
And I go to Disney.
Yeah,
And I go to the beach and just chill. And I usually write. So this was after 3 years. I went this.
Wow.
My girlfriend Cheryl came with me, which she always does. Yeah, so I had a good. I was out for 21 days, 3 weeks.
Is she in the story?
She's not an actress.
No, I mean the online dating saga.
Oh.
Is she?
No, that was pre her.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of funny stuff.
Did she ever, hey, is this about me, this part, or whatever? Can you imagine?
Oh, I know. Yeah. Are you with somebody?
Oh, yeah. So, I've been married. Well, yeah, I've been with my wife since 1994.
Oh, awesome.
Kind of crazy.
Bless you. That's nice.
Yeah, it's cool. Not to give the story away, so I would assume that the online dating thing didn't work because you're saying you met your now girlfriend after.
Yeah, that was a journey, man.
That whole thing.
10 years of online dating.
It wasn't fruitless, though. Like you say, you got a thing out of it.
I got amazing stories.
Right.
I know.
That's, like you say, I guess that's what you do creatively, right? I mean, nothing goes to waste.
No.
Yeah. That's
I know. I've got too many notes,
Wow. Imagine you go through all of that, and then you met her. How? It had nothing to do
well,
with...
she was local because I was all over the map.
Right.
I was literally going to California to have a date, I ended up having a date with a gal who did Irish Spring commercials way back.
Hey.
I met a lot of interesting people on Dateland.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she had the blonde hair. She had the whole thing. Hey.
Cool.
She was fun. Yeah, so, the dating was interesting. I met a gal whose ex-husband created all the creatures for Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was interesting. And she did house concerts.
Okay.
So my date this was in Colorado? No, Yellowstone. Right, She abutted Yellowstone. She had a farm. Yeah, so I went all the way over there to hear this guitarist who played with Paul McCartney in the early stages of Wings in her living room.
Oh, wow. Hey.
That's
pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of.
And then there's like a mold of Jabba the Hutt in the corner there. Just it's over there. And
that's right. There was some slime coming out of the door, and I was like, "What is that?"
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a journey. Cheryl was local.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which was a blessing because I was almost not wanting to be in some of the way like a gal from South Africa came in to meet me. It was just crazy what I was doing. I realized I was really desperate. I was grieving and I was desperate.
Yeah.
So I just relaxed. I chilled out.
Yep.
And Cheryl likes music. She ended up, she was at La Vida, the old La Vida in East Haddam. And I went to Ireland to do a recording job, and which is a fun story. But when I came back, I asked her out on a date, and that was it. We had a great time.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's been 5 years.
Wow. Hey, that's great.
Yeah,
that's
really
great. And I mean, I shouldn't say this, but hey, if things don't work out, write something else. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. It's all good.
I know this. I mean, you never know with anything. That's the one thing I learned about.
That's what I was going to say. So no plan, just say yes and get to work, right?
That's it.
Is that kind of?
That's it.
Did you think that it was ever going to be like? Did you imagine that? Or you just?
I had a vision once. I have a lot of these visions that come to me.
Okay.
Like for this one, I was at a control board pushing knobs and like faders.
Sure.
It was very almost like futuristic, but I was at a board, and that was way before. I was like 6 years before I.
Wow.
And then the other interesting one was I had a vision that I was going to be on 5 acres of land with horses out in the country.
Okay, sure.
So Monica, my deceased wife, had a horse.
Okay.
And we ended up buying a plot of land that initially was 5 acres. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. I used to stand in for Woody Allen years ago and Al Pacino.
Oh, wow.
And Woody. So before I got that job, I just pictured the setting, which was off of the Harlem River Drive, And it was a fancy restaurant, and it was all set, and Mia was there. He was still with Mia Farrow, and Woody was behind the camera. I just made it up. And that ended up happening, that exact scene.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So just because I'm just curious. So a role as a stand-in, how does that work? It's a union gig, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a SAG. It was, well, SAG-AFTRA now, but it was a SAG gig when I was doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get more involved with film because I had just done theater and I wanted to get into film. So I ended up auditioning for an NYU movie, and I got the lead role. And the guys, the college kids, I asked one of them, I said, I want to start to get into this. Yeah. So one of them said, well, I work at a casting agency. If you want to give me your picture and resume, I'll put it on the pile.
Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah.
So he put it on the pile, and I got a call 2 days later from, it was Sylvia Fay casting agency. And they said, we want you to stand in for an actor named Chick Venero on a Tom Berenger movie. This is how old this is.
Yeah.
So I was like, great, because now I'll be on set and I can learn.
Sure.
So for that, basically, you're with the crew around the camera.
Yep.
And you are the B team, the A team are the stars. So basically, the stand-in in this job goes in and they're looking for camera movements. So they're giving you the blocking. We're going to go down this street over here. Then you're going to take a right turn around the building. And then they're also doing the lighting. So it's for the lighting and camera movements.
I see.
Yeah, that's the basic gig. And you got to be the same height, same kind of build, right?
Right, so they can work around you.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a 3-week thing. And I started like, oh, wow.
That's interesting.
Awesome, yeah.
Wow.
So then
you think there's some people that are just stand-ins their whole life?
Oh, you can make a great living.
Can you? That's what I was just imagining. Can you imagine?
You can make a very good living.
So it's not even stunt double. You're like, I don't even have to take a punch or fall or anything. I just need to walk from here to there so they can. Wow.
Right. So then it gets more interesting, right?
Wow.
So 2 days later after that, I get the call from Sylvia Fay. Al Pacino's doing a movie, Sea of Love, and you're the right height and everything, the right coloring. We want you to stand in and photo double for him.
Whoa.
So I was like, okay.
What does that mean?
So photo double. So in the very last clip of the movie, there's a long shot. I think somebody falls out the window. And there's a long shot of Al looking out the window. Al, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
Mike.
That's
Hello,
fine.
Microphone. I'm not a studio engineer.
Yeah.
So.
Cardioid. It's right here. It's right here.
Yeah, right. Stay right there. So, so it's a long shot. It was me at the window. They dressed me up like him. Right. So that's for photo double.
Oh, so this is like second unit, like when they're just, we got to pick.
That's it.
Yeah,
he's away in his trailer or going having dinner somewhere.
Sure.
So the cameraman on that was Woody's cameraman, Dick Mingalone.
Okay.
So while we're still shooting, that was a long shoot. I think it was 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crow.
Yeah, I was really learning, which was great. So the cameraman comes up to me and he goes, hey, kid, the guy from Brooklyn, he says, you're really good at your job, and Woody's looking for a new a new stand-in. So, go to this office here, Todd.
So Al Pacino was first.
Yeah, well, Chick Venero was first.
Wow.
Al Pacino. Yeah,
I got you.
Virgin, Chick Venero, and then sophomore, Al Pacino, and then I graduated. So I go to meet Todd Thaler, the casting agent, and he's looking at me. He goes, well, I heard really good things about you, but you got to look more like Woody. He says, you got to change your hair. You could just kind of look like him more. So why don't you try to look like him? Come back next week.
Wow.
So I watched I don't know how many.
And this would have been what year? So
this is 1990.
So you have to look like Woody circa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So I just watched Woody Allen movies. I bought the glasses with the nose. I took the nose off. And it just so happens that my neighbor's hairstylist was Woody's.
Oh, wow. So you're like, get to work. Give me the Woody.
So I got the exact color.
That's so wild.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, so I dyed my hair, and I just started, gesticulate. Right. And I came in like that to his office,
Yeah, how's this?
Yeah. And he's like, that's it. He says, now go to this office. They're doing tests over here. Yeah. So I go to that place, and there's Martin Landau's Crimes and Misdemeanors was the film.
Oh, okay. Sure.
There's Martin Landau and Sean Penn.
Wow. Gee whiz.
There's a lot of Mia Farrow stand-in types, but I'm the only Woody stand-in type. Sure. So the assistant director calls me over, and I'm just standing there, like that. What do you think?
Yeah, right.
And he literally does a 360 around me, and he goes, "Well, you got the hair, you got the look. I hear you do good work. You got the job."
Hey,
And I was like, "Okay,
great."
Yeah, it was great.
That's so wild.
So the great thing
that's
about
bizarre.
yeah. My life's kind of like a dream.
Yeah, right.
So the great thing about working with Woody is he was in it and he was directing it. So so I got to rehearse.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
so you're just soaking it all up. You're checking it out.
So great.
Yeah, that's crazy. You're right there.
Yeah. So so I did 3 pictures. The second one was actually a Paul Mazursky film called Scenes from a Mall with Bette Midler.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it was really a terrible movie, but the rehearsals were a riot.
Yeah.
Bill Irwin was in that, and and then the third film was Shadows and Fog, another really obscure Woody Allen, but everybody was in that. Jodie Foster, Lily Tomlin, John Cusack. So my Fred Gwynne story for that. So I was in Astoria Kaufman Studios, which is cavernous.
Yeah.
And they set up 2 barber chairs and some mirrors for makeup. And I'm walking from one end to, I don't know where I was going, but I had some purpose. And Fred Gwynne is in it. So Fred's sitting in the barber chairs. And for those who don't know Fred Gwynne, he was the Munster. He was Herman Munster. Earlier, he was on the waterfront as a gangster.
And also Utes. The 2 Utes. Yeah, all right. I don't want to give anything away. But,
right.
Yeah.
My cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
So Fred calls me over and goes, "Hey, Ira, and come on over here. I got to ask you a question." I was like, "Okay." Fred Gwynne's called me over. Okay, I guess I'll go sit next to him. He goes, "Yeah, sit right here." He said, "I only got Woody only gave me the sides, which is basically the scene. He didn't give me the whole script. So and Fred's a method guy. So I don't know what's going on except, this."
Yeah.
And he said, "So I'm kind of nervous."
Oh, boy.
So I said to him, "You're Fred Gwynne." I said, "You know what to do." And he was like, he started laughing. He goes, "Yeah, you're right."
Hey, man. Wow. Can you imagine that?
Oh, I was so thrilled to talk to him.
Wow. So things that you never know about. You might have gotten Fred Gwynne up to the plate.
I mean, he would have got there himself, but he just needed a little support.
That's wild.
The emotional support.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you got me thinking. I don't want to ask too many questions because I don't want to get to other things, but wow, now you got me thinking. So there's method actors that need to understand the whole thing, and then there's other people that just So what do you call it when someone's not method and they can just read sides, like you say? Is that
there's some different acting schools?
Yeah.
There's a Meisner technique. There's a few of them. So you don't have to be method to go deep.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways to go. And also improvisational theater, it's not just comedy, especially what I learned, Viola Spalin's approach. It's improvisation, which can go dramatic, can go any direction. So there's a lot of ways in, to get that area of depth. Woody wanted them to be on their toes and insecure. He wanted the freshness.
Okay.
That's why he did that.
So do you think he knew that Fred Gwynne was method and said, "I'm going to just give him"?
No, I think that was common practice for Woody to not give the whole script.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, I was with him for 3 pictures. Maybe he's changed his approach, but that's what it was for those pictures.
Is he looking for improv, Woody, or no? Like how in the grand scheme of things, does he do that because he's hoping maybe they'll improv their way into something different? Or
at the time it was pretty scripted, but he would allow for spontaneity, But it was pretty tight. Like he knew exactly what he wanted and he knew how to get it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, look at his career. I mean, the crazy stuff is the crazy stuff, and the human condition.
Yeah, whatever.
But his his professionalism
speaks for itself.
Yeah. So that was.
Were you surprised? Not surprised? A mixture. What you learned from being on the set with him, was it like you imagined, or not, or a combination?
Being on set with him?
Yeah.
It was a surprise.
Like, were you surprised?
Because he was like a rock.
Okay.
Like he always has a sense of humor, but when he was focusing, because he's writing the script, he's acting in it, and he's directing it. So he was just grounded.
So he is not the neurotic Woody Allen that
Not when he's directing.
Right.
And then he'll make a funny comment like we were in New York City walk up.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it wasn't a walk up. It had an old rickety elevator.
Yeah.
And we had to get to, I think, the 6th floor. And in this small little, with the all that stuff, are Sven Nykvist, who is the director of photography, who is 6'5", big guy. Dick Mingalone, who is probably about 6 foot, big guy.
Oh,
and there was like about 5 big guys in there.
Yeah, right.
So Woody goes, because he's got to get upstairs, and he's kind of looking at everybody. And then he turns. I can stay on mic here. He turns and he looks at the panel that has what the weight capacity is. And he goes, I'll take the stairs.
Yeah, right. Boom, boom. Yeah, here we go. This is what I came for.
It was a lot of that, yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Wow. So, to not overstate the obvious, of course, this is the way my mind works. So what I'm getting from all of that is that Woody Allen and Al Pacino are the same height. This is what I'm getting.
Yeah, right. I know.
It's like,
Al's wide. He's got huge shoulders.
Yeah.
And
Can't even imagine.
Slack, but yeah, they're the same height.
Yeah. That's funny.
Short.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Huh. Wow. It's really interesting. I guess you never know, and you still don't know.
No, that's the thing.
What's with the next vision? Have you had one lately?
This animation I'm working on, because I love cartoons, and I have another story that I want to make a short animated film out of, and I was just thinking about this, and I like to draw.
Always?
Yeah.
Is always part of your thing?
Yeah, my sister's an artist.
Okay.
And it's just in the family.
Yeah.
That's like when I can't move around too much anymore, I'll just paint and draw and stuff.
Wow.
But I just I'm sorry, I lost the thread for a second.
No, I was just what vision next? And you.
Oh yeah,
you were
it's this. I want to get back to Methuselah. I want to get back to the Mark. But this animation is very hot for me right now.
Yeah.
So I found a wonderful animator. Her name's Kat Williams, and
from up this way.
Yeah, she's
being up here is a good move. Turned out to be a good move.
A lot of talented people around here.
Wow, hey, that's cool.
I was really shocked. Yeah.
Hey, that's nice.
I don't know.
Here for Connecticut.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many great artists around.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had her draw. I took pictures of the characters from the show, from the Christmas show. And I had seen her animation work, and I said, "Can you do caricatures?" Because I wasn't thinking the animation.
Yeah.
So I hired her to do these caricatures, and I was like, "Oh my God!" It blew me away, her artistry. So I said, and I knew she did. I knew the animation was in her. So I actually am just reading over the contract to start this animation of this thing, which she'll knock out. It's a 2.5 minute song. And she'll knock it out in 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
huh.
yeah. And I'm learning too, because I want to do that stuff. I have this other story idea, which is really fun, which I won't say because it's
sure.
But
so it's never going to stop for you, though.
Oh no,
just always whatever's next.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of stuff.
That's so cool.
There's a children's album that I want to do with my sister. We've written a few songs. There's an adult album I want to do. There's a book I want to write. I've got a list of stuff.
Sure.
God willing, I'll be healthy enough to just keep going.
Hey.
Until I fall over.
That's cool. Wow.
Well, how about you? What do you?
Gee, I don't know. It depends on what you want to know. I don't know.
Well, creatively, this is a creative endeavor.
It is. Well, I started as a drummer on the kind of the bar scene. Right at the kind of in the mid 80s around here, and I kind of played in every bar band, regional band, every original band, just like the regular journey that anybody would take. And then somewhere along the line, I kind of started coming off the road a little more and teaching drums, which I always did, and started ramping that up a little bit. And then I don't know if this has anything to do, but kind of. Was always interested in DJing and DJ culture around the turn of the century, so I was really into that and kind of figuring out how to mix, and then ended up DJing weddings and stuff like that. Cool. And always making mixes, always putting things together. So that was like a sideline. and the teaching ramped up. And then the last band that I stopped being on the road with, a friend of mine was in the karaoke business, and I just fell into it because I had a PA, and I like to yakety yak, and I know how to mix.
Nice.
And now I'm a karaoke host.
Oh, nice.
Drum teacher, play gigs. And then
Fun.
Dave, the boss, he built the studio and just said, you start next week. I didn't know thing one about it at all, Right. And we're on show 100 something.
That's awesome.
And I love it. And it's cool, you know?
Yeah, you're good at it.
Oh, thank you. Even friend of mine has a YouTube channel. I started doing stand-up in my car. It's called Comedians in Cars by Themselves.
I was going to say, because I've seen a few of your podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have a good sense.
And I'm like, I could do, my friend's like, hey, I got this idea. It's just YouTube, he's like, I got this idea. I have funny friends. Like, could you do bits when you're driving around? I'm like, dude, you have to tell me when to stop. I have them stacked up. I used to do a DJ gig at City Steam. They had a comedy club in the basement. And I would watch when
I saw one.
I would see the comedian go out front for a cigarette, and I would roll up to him and go, you want to hear a bit? I got a bit. You can take it. You can have it. And I used to give bits away, and they'd be like,
awesome.
Yeah, go ahead. And I would do a bit. And I don't know if anybody used them or not. But now I'm just going to bang them out on this YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Just get rid of them.
Yeah, so you've got your creative outlets.
And I like to write. I write about music. I have like a kind of a music blog. I make mixes and then write about them. And, Nice. So I know the feeling where it just, you kind of like point it in every direction. And I have to do something. Even if I've always read, I published a drum book at one point, but like I like to write. That's kind of one of my little outlets is just, write for no reason. I've always written.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
You just have to, just go with what, so many people get shut down and they don't realize that how much is inside of them that can come out.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, the creative process relates to everything, gardening, plumbing,
Right.
creating any kind of career.
Exactly.
You have some idea in your head and you can see where you are and you make a plan to get there and, you're in the process. As long as it's, as long as it's something you want for the love of that.
Sure.
Because the creative process is not about problem solving. It's about making something come into being.
Correct.
Versus trying to get rid of something you don't like.
Right.
And those are two different orientations.
Interesting. Yeah, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. And they can get mixed up,
Yeah.
And things will flow better if it's pure in a way. If it's like a pure, like I love this. Wow. I love to do this. I love surrounding myself with this stuff. And all of a sudden you notice things start coming in. People start coming in.
Oh, yeah.
Coincidence.
Sure.
Useful coincidences happen.
Yeah. Well,
but it's really part of that creative process when it's pure like that.
Yeah. That's interesting. What I like to do, I have been doing this for years. I didn't realize. Now I'm starting to realize what I'm doing. Is I always, I was old enough to like make mixtapes on cassette, when you could kind of make your own things.
The overdub.
Yeah. And so I just make mixes all the time because I'm always listening. Like I like so many millions of different music things. And I just put things together as a theme, bang them out, and then realize months later I was like, oh, you were kind of depressed or you were happy. I actually journal by assembling things. And that's kind of how I express myself in this weird kind of.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I don't know it until later.
Right.
And I'll write about it, and then look back and go, "Oh yeah, okay, that's cool."
You're feeding yourself.
Yeah.
That the soul, part of you, which needs to be fed.
Yeah.
To really have a life. You can have a life.
I think I have to, like myself too, like you're saying. Yeah. I have to be putting things together, or sometimes I'll put songs together and go, oh, these are all in the same key because I don't think about it as a drummer, but there'll be something linking these things, but because my things that I like, the styles are so wild that the only person that you'd only be me to see the connection between all these songs.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
but that's what drives it. It's like a pulse almost.
Yeah.
That drives it.
Yeah, for sure.
I know it's fascinating, and it's it's such. I'm older now, so you just start realizing how short it is.
Wow.
Life.
Yeah, sure.
It's really short, and there's no guarantee. I mean, after losing, my wife, I was like, it was hard. It was shocking, but and then there was a bit where I was so depressed I didn't want to be here anymore.
Sure.
But I found the thing that turned it around was something I loved when I was a kid, which was basketball.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was out on my deck.
Yeah.
And it was 6 days of this depression where I just was actually thinking about, how can I leave?
Sure.
But I said, well, let's just come back tomorrow, think about it some more.
Yep.
I just kept. And then on the seventh day,
Yeah. When you should be resting, but you're not. Yeah.
I would ask myself this question every day of those seven days, like, is there anything that interests you anymore? Anything? And on the seventh day, I was like, well, I do like basketball. And that was something I played as a kid.
Came from somewhere.
Just like, bang. I was like, and I do like music. And I do like acting. Like all of a sudden I had reason.
You're saying you start getting momentum again, one little spark.
It was just like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess all you need, that one little spark.
Yeah.
It's
Hopefully.
funny. Yeah. I guess it's funny times I think about times like that. It's like, this is where there's no other word to use but a cliche. You just go, well, there's just one little spark, and you're like, yeah, I know. But it's true, though.
Well, it's true. Yeah.
There's a reason why
that
these things
is.
exist.
Strike that flint, and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't happen right away. And, perseverance is what it is. It's like, just come back again.
Right. It's wanting to know what's around the next corner. Wanting to know what's next, what I can make of this, what it could be. Yeah.
I mean, all you really know is what you want and what you don't want.
Right.
And you know where you are.
Yeah.
Like what you currently have, but there's no guarantee of anything really.
Yeah.
When I think about it, and the basic. Are we good?
Yeah. I think we're figuring it out. You got it? You got to go?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out. No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Just edit that out. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, Dave's leaving. In case
Nice to
anyone's
see
curious.
ya.
Yeah, see ya.
Thanks for coming down.
Yeah,
you.
hey Dave, watch this one. This is really good. This is a good one. This is really good.
Melissa's going to do the
Okay, great.
grip.
Yep, fine.
All right.
Fine. All right, cool. All right, well, you know what? I don't know where we were, but we're getting close to the end. I do not want to run out. You're welcome to come back anytime, because I feel like
thank
we
you.
barely kind of got started, and this is interesting. We didn't even talk about drums or anything. I had Bernard Purdy here. Did you know that?
I saw that.
That was cool.
I
That was
saw
cool.
that. I was like,
That
this.
cool.
Whoa.
That was a big one.
He's awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Desert Island albums. Are there any? Can you pick as a musician a handful of albums that you would take with you forever? Is it possible?
Wow. I would take Peer Gynt by Grieg.
Ooh, okay.
I would take
Sure.
that. I would take Danny Kaye's children's album. I would take Sgt. Pepper.
Sure.
I've got to have some Tom Petty, probably Greatest Hits.
Yeah, I love Tom Petty too. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't know. I'd probably be okay with. Oh wait, there's one more in there. Who the hell is it? Oh, who is it? I do like Adele.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's not to like?
She moves me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
How about you?
Oh God, well, everybody knows this. People.
Oh, you
ask
probably
me,
say people ask
I
you.
say it all
you
the
say
time.
it every quick.
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't know.
all right. White Album, Beatles, Smiley Smile, Beach Boys, which is the weird.
Yeah.
Started Smile and then ended up with that, but I grew up with it. I love it. I'm a big NRBQ fan from around here, so Kick Me Hard by NRBQ. Here's a bizarre one. Chuck and the Frizz by the Red Clay Ramblers.
Oh,
Do you know
I
them?
don't know that.
Love it. String band music. I love that thing too.
Jim Queskin?
What?
Jim Queskin?
No.
And the Jug Band?
No. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know. I could go on forever. I mean, I love. Yeah,
I know,
I
it's
can't-
tough.
It's hard to even. Yeah, I'm a big Cheap Trick fan. Cheap Trick's first album, 1976. It's almost punk
Cheryl
rock.
was playing that in the car this weekend.
Oh, hey, she's a keeper. I mean, I have a million of them. I could never even. It
Wow.
it changes by the. I'm going through I'm doing a Prince binge right now, which I grew up with Prince's music, but I'm finding out the stuff that I didn't know later and kind of sifting through it. It's really cool.
Oh, that's great.
Went on another Led Zeppelin binge, which I do every once in a while. Just go top to bottom and figure out what I didn't, more. Just the
nice.
usual. But I love reggae. I love dance music. I love bluegrass. I love,
Oh, yeah.
just too
You have
much.
a wide palette. Who's the one that, I think he passed away recently, How Can I Miss You and You Won't Go Away? I talked to your mother. Oh, Dan Hicks and his Hot Lips.
Oh, right. Yeah, a couple of years ago. Yeah.
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 I think, yeah.
Yeah, Dan Hicks. Thomas Dolby, The Flat Earth. That's
Oh.
one of my favorite albums, the second one.
See,
And
you're
there's
younger
I
than
Scare
me.
Myself. is a song that Dan Hicks.
Dan Hicks,
There's a
right?
Dan Hicks song
I
on that
scare
record.
myself when I think about
Yeah,
you.
Thomas Dolby
Oh, that's
did
great.
that. Yeah.
I mean, I would have loved to have seen him and David Byrne get together and write.
Yeah,
something.
right.
Those two sensibilities.
Yeah, killer.
Wow.
Killer. Talk about drums for 5 minutes.
Okay. Drums. My first kit was a Gretsch kit.
Sure.
My cousin Artie, my dad bought me a snare drum to have the lessons. And all of a sudden, I forget what birthday it was. He goes, "Oh, well, Cousin Artie is selling his drum set, and we'd like to buy it for you." And I was like, "Okay."
Hey.
It was a 50s drum set, and the Gretsch kit was so nice. It was like a pearl. Yeah, it was great pearl. And I had a great teacher, great drum teacher.
Cool.
Yeah, so, and then the Gretsch, I was so stupid. I was in my 20s, and, the hardware was falling apart.
Sure.
I should have kept the shells.
Yeah, I know. It happens all the time.
Duh.
Yeah, my parents, I had a 28-inch, I have one now, but like an old Ludwig, and they just threw it out. Oh, we got these better ones from the Sears catalog, and they just throw them out. You're just like,
I know.
Nobody knew.
So my girlfriend bought me a Tama kit.
Yeah.
It's serviceable,
Sure.
And that's the one that sits in the studio.
Yeah.
Though I really want to get you talk about drums.
Well, I don't know. What do you want to know?
What do you have?
I play Ludwig 72 Ringo reissue super classic because I'm a big Ringo fan. So
Right here, same.
So it's like a Ringo replica.
Nice.
And I have like a set of super classics from the 80s that are in bad shape, but that's the main thing. A friend of mine was like, I had these drums forever. Somebody left them here. Just come and get them. And it's like an old Premier from the 60s.
Oh, wow.
That I keep
I remember
in my
Premier.
studio. Yeah, it's cool. It's just a 4-piece kit, but it's beautiful. I'm like, yeah, I'll keep this. And I looked it up. I said, just make sure it's not worth a fortune. If it is, I'm not going to take it. But I took it, and then the wrap is, the finish is not original. So I'm like, all right, it's cool.
Right.
And I'll keep it. But yeah.
Do you know John Morse?
No.
Oh,
Do I?
He collects these vintage drums.
Oh, really?
And he fixes them up.
Yeah.
He's got. I mean, I went to his place and he's got like shelves of these drums.
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
cool.
You're a good guy to know for this.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but no, that's pretty much where I'm at. With that, just drum wise. Yeah. Getting ready to hit the road this summer. I've been out of it for a little while. I'm getting back into it.
Who are you going to play with?
Christine Ullman. Do you know her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Beehive.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so Lauren's going out with Mary Chapin Carpenter, and I'm doing the gigs for the summer, the summer runs or whatever.
I'll have to catch you.
Yeah, cool.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, cool.
Nice.
Wow. Well, hey, nice to meet you. This was really cool.
It was fun.
Come back anytime.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'm sure there's a lot more that we didn't even talk about.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah.
So you're more than welcome. Anytime now that you know where to find us.
Yeah.
You know, and it's cool. Who else do we know? Rich Dart. I looked on Facebook and I'm like, oh yeah, Jim Chapdelaine, Rich Dart. All these cats.
Oh
So
yeah. Jim's great.
Yeah.
Rich is great. They're all great.
Yeah,
They're all
yeah.
great people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember reaching out to Jim for some mastering work.
Yeah.
And Rich was in the studio when Shiny Lapel Trio was around.
Yep.
Yeah, and he played. He played drums on I think 2 original songs that Tiger wrote, which ended up getting them the Monday Night Football gig.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Rich was great. I
Killer.
know. Mickey's going out with Mickey.
Yeah.
That's his gig.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him when he comes back because he's been on.
Nice.
So he's like, let me just go do the tour and then I'll come back.
There you go.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? We can go.
Okay.
I don't want to go, but we can. So
Okay.
we probably should jump off.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I really
same.
appreciate you being here.
Fun.
So stay in touch. We'll figure something out.
We'll do.
All right. I'm gonna press the button. Music is coming.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, pull the UE, park in the street in front of the school with the red neon lights. I'm still working on my rap. Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast right here in our studio. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ira. Thank you for being here. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. I'll see you next time.
See ya.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.